Hello, hello. My name is Tolly Bryn and you're watching The Magnificent Joy of Awareness. And today I want to make a video on getting high. Getting high. Because as you can see, I'm pretty high right now. There you can see Europe's largest glacier. This is Vatnajökull, and all around me mountains and rivers and lakes and oh, there's another glacier. Look at that. Katla. And further on and further on. And you know, the title is kind of tongue-in-cheek. I used to get high a lot when I was a kid, or when I was a teenager rather, and young adult. Not when I was a kid, but you know, I used to smoke weed and do all kinds of drugs, and you know, at the time felt like the smart thing to do, the only way to get to be cool, you know, and lifted social inhibitions and all this stuff, and just like, yeah, getting high, that's cool, that makes me cool, right? And now I'm like, no, not really. Not really. In fact, it's more or less the opposite. And the reason I say that is because there are such an abundance of natural highs that you can reach just through living your life. And you know, I just did this short hike. It was an hour and a half or 2 hours or something to get to the top of the highest mountain in the area here. I'm up in the highlands of South Iceland, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing, and it's so good to get this bird's eye view over the entire land, and on a day like this, you know, late summer's day. But I did genuinely want to talk about the power of getting high, especially through like natural highs, such as this, such as getting a different perspective. And I guess that's really what getting high means, doesn't it? It means seeing life from a different vantage point, and that's definitely what happens when you drink alcohol, when you smoke weed, when you take mushrooms, even if you do cocaine or meth or whatever. It's just changing your consciousness to the point where you get a different view of life. Obviously, many of the substances or basically all of the substances that I counted up, they have huge drawbacks and can be incredibly dangerous and will ruin your life if you allow them to. On the other hand, a high like this one, you know, getting up on top of the world and taking a look, kind of reminding yourself of just how tiny we are in the scheme of things, the big scheme of things, but at the same time also showing just how powerful we are, like both as individuals and just as a species. You know, in order to get up here, I needed to drive this huge modified Jeep, you know, which came all the way from Japan to begin with, and then was modified in Reykjavik and then driven up here into the highlands. That was all designed by a plethora of people throughout many years. And after that, I had to use my legs, obviously, and get up to the top here. And I don't know, I just really like thinking about just how incredibly powerful yet minuscule we are at the same time. I'm thinking back now to just last night. I was feeling kind of down. I've been doing a lot of sort of inner emotional work, and there's a lot of emotions are kind of coming up, bubbling up, and I've been trying to pace myself so that it's not too bad all at the same time, but yesterday was particularly difficult, and I felt a lot of grief and a lot of sort of depression. And I ended up, when I got home from work, I ended up sitting down on the floor of my room, and I meditated for an hour straight, moved very minimally didn't move my legs at all, didn't open my arms, opened my eyes like twice or thrice during the whole thing, and just focused on the sensations that were coming up. I focused on the grief, found it right here in my throat, focused on sort of just being present with the grief, being present with the difficult emotions. Then as the pain started to build up, you know, in my legs, started to get pins and needles in my legs from sitting so long. Started getting these stabs in the back muscles from sitting upright for an hour straight, and just started sitting with them, just trying to gain an understanding of what exactly pain is. And funnily enough, going through that kind of meditation, and I've done this many times before, but it's been a while since I've done an entire hour like that. Going through a meditation like that is a method of getting high, for sure. And I certainly worked through a lot of the grief that I was dealing with during that hour. I feel so much better just today. Like, I woke up in the morning, I was like, wow. Because as I drew to the end of the meditation, the grief that I felt right in the throat, it was just, at first it was just this tension, like I was having a hard time swallowing. It was kind of, I don't know, like it was inflamed, I guess, or something like that. It's just kind of the feeling you get when you want to cry but you can't. And I just focused on that feeling and sort of just massaged it with my conscious awareness. And in the end, it started to dissipate, and dissipated quite a lot, and kind of suddenly, actually. I just gave it time, and I didn't even attempt to, get rid of the feeling or anything like that. I just sat with it, allowed it to be, gave it my full attention, and that's how you allow these difficult emotions to dissipate. And I truly believe that this is the absolute core of the teachings of saints and people like the Buddha. When he talks about his meditation routines and the Vipassana tradition and all this, I've got a bit of experience with that, and I never really got what exactly it was we were doing. It felt kind of masochistic at first, and I stuck to it because of I thought it was cool, just being sitting in meditation, and people would think I was cool because I'd sat for 100 hours during 10 days in meditation. And honestly, that is pretty cool. If you can do that, I think it's pretty cool. It shows a lot of discipline and shows that you're ready to do hard work. But at the same time, I was just prideful and hubristic, and I wasn't really getting the benefit of the meditation simply because I wasn't doing it from a love of self-knowledge. Rather, I was doing it from a longing to be cool. I was trying to get high in the same way I'd been getting high for many, many years by smoking weed and drinking and smoking cigarettes and all this stuff. And it's just in the last few years, and especially in the last year or so, where I've fully come to terms with my own pride and my own hubris in this area. But the thing is, consciousness itself, simple, everyday, quotidian consciousness. I love throwing words in like that, quotidian just means daily, basically. But that was a bit of hubris right there, I guess. But just everyday consciousness, just this. I was just walking up this mountain. I had the Pints with Aquinas podcast in my ears. Don't know if you've checked that out. It's a Catholic podcast. I'm not Catholic, but I just love listening to those guests. They're just really on the money in many respects when it comes to spirituality. And I was just listening to that and walking up this steep hill. Felt the tension in my legs, the tension in my body, and I was just like, wow, how could life be any better than this? Take a look at that. Langisjór. It's huge inland lake, which ends up right next to the glacier there. It's just amazing. Just amazing. Oh yeah. Man, I am so high right now. It's crazy. I'm feeling really high, and that's good. And it's funny. I've been feeling very strong contrasts in the last few weeks because I've been delving, like I said, really, really heavily into this sort of emotional, spiritual work, dealing with some very deep-rooted emotional issues that I haven't faced. And yeah, I've been going really low, and then in between I've been going really, really high, and that's something that I found really interesting. And it's a concept that I'd heard of before, like you're diving to the depths of the lowest and most difficult feelings, and in return you're able to soar higher than ever before. And this is, I believe, the basis for enlightenment. You end up on the top, you know. You dig and dig and dig and dig until you can't go any lower, and then, or I don't know, I'm not enlightened, so I don't exactly know, but you know, I once saw this analogy of a huge oak tree, and you know, you look at the trunk and the leaves and the crown of the tree, and you're like, wow, that's so high, it's so beautiful, so majestic. But there's so much under the surface that we don't see. The roots, you know, for a tree to reach heaven, the roots need to go down to hell. And that is the work. That's the work, my friends. The work of Joy of Awareness, going down to hell in order to be able to soar and to fly to heaven. I won't make this video much longer. If you like my stuff, please like and subscribe and share my videos. I'm sure you love them. Like, I'm handsome, I'm awesome, I'm pretty cool, and the stuff that I talk about even better than I am, you know, and that's saying a lot. And but if you do, by the way, I'm not really that hubristic. I'm just joking around. But if you do like it, please share my stuff, and check out my books as well. That's Health Simplified and Mind Reclaimed. I'll leave the links down below. Right now, just so you know, I'm selling them for $1 each. So if you've been on the fence on buying them, and I understand, like, I'm just some internet guy who wrote some books and you don't know if they're good or not, but you can definitely check them out now. And I'm going to keep them for $1 each for a while. I don't know, just to see what happens, I guess. But the more people who get them, the better. And if I can keep them cheap, that's fine. In fact, that's better than fine. That's awesome. That's ideal. The cheaper they can be, the better. Finally, you can check out my website as well, joyofawareness.com. I've been writing quite a few articles lately on there, and I'm trying to get into the habit of making more in-depth articles. And I want to, you know, do more with that website. It's gotten to a good start, and there's quite a few pretty cool articles there you can check out on all kinds of topics, but mainly about physical health. But now I've been writing more about sort of these spiritual and emotional matters, more like, you know, you might call it mental health, than before. And yeah, you'll really like it. But you know, aside from that, I just hope you have a beautiful day. Take a last look at that beautiful glacier there, and my beautiful face as well. And I'll see you soon. Peace.